Welcome back to Fremmer IELTS, the channel dedicated to helping you reach your target IELTS band score. In this video, this practice will help you understand what examiners look for and how to achieve band 7, 8, or even 9. Before we begin, subscribe, like the video, comment, and share it with friends preparing for IELTS. As you can see on the board, this is an IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 sample question. Before writing your answer, it is very important to read the task carefully and understand what the chart is showing. If possible, pause the video for a moment, read the question carefully, and try to understand the information in the chart. You may also try writing your own response first. If you prefer, you can continue watching the video and write your answer later after listening to the explanation. Remember that the goal of Task 1. In Task 1, you should describe visual information such as a graph, chart, table, map, or process diagram. You should summarize the main features, compare key details when necessary, and present the information clearly in your own words, without giving personal opinions. Now, let's look carefully at this IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 sample. As you can see, the graph shows radio and television audiences in the UK throughout the day in 1992. The vertical axis represents the percentage of the UK population over 4 years old, while the horizontal axis shows the time of the day from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock the next morning. Before writing your answer, the first thing you should do is understand what the graph is showing. In this case, it compares to types of media, radio and television, and it shows how the number of people listening or watching changes at different times of the day. The next step is to identify the main trends. For example, you should notice when radio audiences are highest, when television audiences peak, and how the numbers change during the morning, afternoon, evening, and night. These key patterns are what you should focus on in your report. For IELTS Writing Task 1, a strong answer usually has 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is the introduction, where you paraphrase the question and explain what the graph shows. The second paragraph is the overview, where you summarize the main trends without giving too many numbers. This part is very important for a high band score. The third and fourth paragraphs are the body paragraphs. In these paragraphs, you describe the details of the graph and include relevant figures while making comparisons between radio and television audiences at different times of the day. To achieve a high band score, you need to focus on several key points. First, clearly describe the main features instead of mentioning every single number. Second, make clear comparisons between the two trends. Third, use varied vocabulary and accurate grammar to explain the data. Finally, organize your ideas logically so that your report is easy to follow. Once you understand the graph, identify the key trends and organize your answer into clear paragraphs. You'll be able to write a strong IELTS Task 1 response. Now let's write the answer for this Task 1, so you can see how a high-scoring response is structured, including the vocabulary, grammar, and clear comparisons needed for a higher band score. Our writing task 1 is now completed, but let me analyze and explain my answer paragraph by paragraph so you can clearly understand why this response can achieve a high band score. In the first paragraph, I introduce the graph by paraphrasing the question clearly. Instead of copying the original task, I use academic vocabulary such as illustrates and percentage of the UK population. I also include the key information, the 2 media types, the population group, and the time period. For a high band score, the introduction must be concise, accurate, and written in your own words with correct grammar. In the second paragraph, I provide the overview, which is one of the most important parts of Task 1. Here, I summarize the main trends without focusing on too many numbers. I clearly show that radio audiences were highest in the morning, while television viewing peaked in the evening, and that television attracted larger audiences later in the day. This paragraph uses clear comparison words, such as while, in addition, and by contrast, which help create strong coherence and logical flow. In the third paragraph, I describe the details for radio audiences. I include specific figures from the graph and use precise vocabulary such as increased, rapidly, reached its highest point, and gradually declining. These expressions demonstrate a strong range of vocabulary and accurate grammar, which are key criteria for Band 8 and Band 9. In the fourth paragraph, I focus on television audiences and explain how the numbers change during the day. I use clear comparisons and time references, such as after 4 o'clock p.m. and around 8 p.m. I also use varied academic expressions, like remained relatively low, rose sharply, and declined steadily. These phrases show lexical variety and help create smooth, fluent sentences. Overall, my response follows the correct four-paragraph structure: introduction, overview, and to body paragraphs. The answer presents the main trends clearly, uses accurate numbers from the graph, includes varied vocabulary and complex sentence structures, and maintains a logical flow throughout the report. These are the key features that help this response achieve a high band score in IELTS Writing Task 1. Now let's start with Task 2. As you can see on the board, this is an IELTS Academic Writing Task to sample question. Before writing your essay, read the question carefully. If possible, pause the video and try to write your own answer first, or continue watching and write it later after the explanation. Remember that the goal of Task 2 is to present a clear opinion, support it with logical reasons and relevant examples, and organize your ideas in a well-structured essay using clear vocabulary and accurate grammar. You must write at least 250 words. Now let's look at this IELTS Academic Writing Task to sample question. As you can see on the board, the topic discusses international tourism. The question explains that tourism brings many benefits to different places, but at the same time, there are concerns about its impact on local people and the environment. The key question is, do the disadvantages of international tourism outweigh the advantages? This means you must analyze both sides of the issue and decide whether the disadvantages are greater than the advantages, or whether the advantages are stronger. Before writing your essay, it is very important to identify the task type. In this case, it is an advantages and disadvantages essay, where you must clearly present your position and support it with logical reasons and examples. For Task 2, a well-structured essay usually contains 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is the introduction, where you paraphrase the question and clearly state your opinion. The second and third paragraphs are the body paragraphs, where you explain the advantages and disadvantages with supporting ideas and examples. The final paragraph is the conclusion, where you summarize your main argument and restate your position. To achieve a high band score, you should focus on several important points. First, make sure your essay answers the question directly and presents a clear opinion. Second, develop your ideas with logical explanations and relevant examples. Third, use a good range of vocabulary and accurate grammar. Finally, organize your ideas clearly so that the essay flows smoothly and is easy to follow. Once you clearly understand the question, identify the main ideas and organize your essay into clear paragraphs. You will be ready to write a strong IELTS task to response. Now let's write the answer for this Task 2, so you can see how a high-scoring essay is structured, including the vocabulary, grammar, and logical development needed for a higher band score. Our writing Task 2 is now completed, but let me analyze my answer paragraph by paragraph so you can clearly understand why this essay can achieve a high band score. In the first paragraph, I introduce the topic and paraphrase the question, using academic language such as fastest growing industries and economic opportunities. I also clearly present my position by stating that the advantages of international tourism outweigh the disadvantages. For a high band score, the introduction must clearly address the question, show a clear opinion, and use accurate grammar and natural academic vocabulary. In the second paragraph, I develop my first main idea by explaining the advantages of international tourism. I support my argument with clear explanations and examples, such as job creation, economic growth, and government revenue. I also use strong academic expressions like substantial economic benefits, employment opportunities, and improve the living standards, which demonstrate a wide range of vocabulary. In the third paragraph, I present the disadvantages of tourism, which shows balanced discussion and logical development. I include specific problems such as overcrowding, pollution, environmental damage, and rising living costs. I also use advanced linking expressions such as on the other hand and furthermore, which improve coherence and cohesion. In the fourth paragraph, I further develop the argument by explaining that these negative impacts can be reduced through responsible management and sustainable policies. This paragraph strengthens the essay because it shows deeper analysis and practical solutions, using expressions such as responsible tourism management and sustainable development policies. In the final paragraph, I provide a clear conclusion by summarizing my opinion and reinforcing the main idea of the essay. I restate that the benefits of international tourism are more significant, while emphasizing the importance of proper management. Overall, my essay follows a clear 5-paragraph structure, presents well-developed ideas, uses advanced vocabulary, varied sentence structures, and logical transitions, and maintains clear coherence throughout the essay. These features are essential for achieving a Band 8 or Band 9 score in IELTS Writing Task 2. That brings us to the end of this IELTS Academic Writing Practice test. In this video, we practiced Task 1 and Task 2, reviewed Band 9 sample answers, and learned how to structure high-scoring responses. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Fremmer IELTS, like the video, comment, and share it with others preparing for IELTS. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson on Fremmer IELTS.